Hello there, guys. I am coming to you with my new chat series called Geek-Chat Reboot Saturday Night Live. This is the first episode, and my first guest is Gareth Archer of Plonker88. How you doing, mate?
Oh, not too bad. Thank you very much. A little bit tired. I've just woken up from a nap. Luckily, I managed to wake up in time for today's chat, but I'm not doing too bad otherwise. So.
Yeah, so you've been doing okay today?
Sorry? Yeah? No? Brilliant. What have I been up to today? Oh yeah, I was trying to do some things with my Mac Pro this morning, but it didn't work out, so I played GTA for a while.
You enjoying that? Because I know you're playing it with your friend Luke.
I'm enjoying it immensely. I have to say, I've said to a few people that I don't know what it is, but I seem to be enjoying the PS4 version a lot more than I did the PS3 version. Obviously, as I've said to other people, it is quite an upgrade, but I don't know what it is. I seem to be enjoying a lot more in the PS4 than I did in the PS3. As I've said to people in the past, I really like the PS4's controller, so maybe that's part of it. But yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Is it like the graphics, or is it just a lot easier to play?
Sorry?
Is it like the graphics, or is it just a lot easier to play?
The graphics, the performance, everything. I would say it's a lot more than simply a remaster or an upgrade. The graphics are better. It runs at a solid frame rate. The PS3 version would stutter and stop and not run very well at times, whereas this just runs smooth the whole time, never stutters. It looks glorious. A lot of people have said that.
How are you getting on with the playing online? I guess that's fun because I've never experienced that before. So.
When the game first launched, it was a bit of a ball ache to actually get online. There were so many people trying to get online onto the servers. I mean, Rockstar have said that they believe as many people have bought GTA 5 next gen as bought the previous version. So that means in the first week they sold $1 billion worth of Grand Theft Auto, which is a lot of Grand Theft Auto out there. So there's that many people trying to get online. So there's a lot of people, but it's now thinned out, and it's a lot easier to get online now. A lot easier.
Can you play like against many people as you want, or is it like I know you can play like 1-to-1 on the game? Can you play?
On GTA can have up to 30 people in the same session.
That's good.
They've upped that from 16 it was on the previous gen. That's now 30. And you can have up to 16-player parachute jumps.
Mm-hmm. So, how is it going on your Mac then, the computer you've had?
Right, what I'm trying to do, first of all, is trying to get Windows on there. There's a tool you can use within inside OS 10 called Boot Camp that helps you out with that. But for some reason, when you actually get through into the Windows installation, you can't go any further. It gets to the part where you're selecting what drives you want to format and then install Windows onto, and basically you format drive you want to use, and it says error, can't install Windows to this drive. Digging a bit further, it's because it's not the right file format.
So you're using still both computers, are you? Your main one and the.
My one's over. My main one is over by my TV at the moment, connects up to my TV.
Mm-hmm. So you're just sort of getting used to the Mac, are you, and figuring out sort of?
I mean, I've been in and out of Macs for a while and know the operating system quite well. It's just this particular hardware I'm trying to get my head around.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get it working the way I want it to work, I guess.
Oh yeah, I've got some ideas now. Oh yeah, about Halloween. Have you watched any of it yet? Your new box set?
But all I've done is tested them.
Tested that out on your Blu-ray drive on your computer.
Yeah, I tested them all out, checked if they work, checked their quality. That's all I've done so far. I haven't actually sat down and watched any of them. I watched the majority of Halloween but how much DVD ones I haven't seen yet. So.
And here's the question: do they look great?
Yes, they do. They look far better than they have ever looked. I can't talk for anything past Halloween 1 and 2. I've only ever watched Halloween on Blu-ray. No, wrong. I actually watched it on telly earlier on this year, and to me, I think that was actually the HD version that was on telly, because I could see that. I couldn't see a degradation in quality, is what I'm trying to say. It looked as good as my Blu-ray version that Luke sent me that I had beforehand.
Yeah.
I did stick in your Halloween 2 to check the differences between Halloween 2 DVD and Blu-ray, and there is a significant difference. The Blu-rays look as good as Halloween's ever going to look. That's what I'll probably say.
I understand that with that set, there's some DVDs with it. What's on there? Is it just extras, or is it just a DVD version of the film?
Yeah, there's a DVD of Halloween 2, of the TV cut of the film.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if people know, I'm sure there's a lot of people who know about Halloween, but what happens is Halloween actually falls slightly short. Sorry, it's a 90-minute film, exactly. In order to get it onto telly, and to fill out the extra length they need for commercial breaks, advert breaks, they need to add a bit of content into it, and that's called the TV cut. On the Halloween 2, and this is the 1981 Halloween 2, they have the complete TV cut on a DVD.
Yeah.
Now, why they don't have it on a Blu-ray, I can only guess they don't have the Blu-ray rights to it, or it was never shot on Blu-ray. But Halloween 2, the theatrical cut, is Blu-ray and it's HD, so I don't understand.
Do you like the fact that the second film is like a straight follow-up to the first film that continues right on?
Do I like that, or...?
Like, are you happy that the story just continues on where it's not a completely different film?
I have no problem with it, personally.
Sorry?
I have no problem with it, personally.
No, okay.
In fact, I was told last night by Luke that 4 and 5 do exactly the same.
My only problem with the Halloween movies is the third one. I mean, how can you have Halloween without Michael Myers?
Right. And this is the problem everyone needs to realise. And I know people are very invested in the Halloween series and are very invested in Michael Myers as a character. So, right. When Halloween was coming into fruition, when it was being thought up and everything like that, John Carpenter's, the producer of Halloween, who I've forgotten right now, I could look it up, wanted to make a film called The Babysitter Murders. And basically wanted to make a generic slasher film where basically a group of babysitters get murdered, basically. John Carpenter was brought on board with his expertise and made it the film we all know and love today. Most people think that he turned that film into a sensation.
Yeah.
As I keep saying, the film was a massive success at the other box office. He made its budget back 100 times. It was ludicrous how much money it made. Now with Halloween 2, I'm not sure, I get things mixed up because later on in the Halloween films there are contractual problems that arise and blah 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 anyway. I don't know if John Carpenter was contractually obliged to do Halloween 2 or whether he was just convinced by Halloween 2. So, because of this extreme success of Halloween, they wanted to do a second Halloween film, basically. John Carpenter's original vision of Halloween films was each year to do a Halloween-themed horror film. So, around Halloween each film, they would release a Halloween film that'd be like an anthology series, a bit like Goosebumps, but you know, adult and 18, you know, kind of stuff. So each year a release would come out called Halloween with a subtitle or some description, like Season of Witch, which is Halloween 3, and would have some sort of Halloween trope or Halloween cliche, and then would make it horror film, basically. With Halloween 2, he was eventually convinced by the producers to include Michael Myers. And then it took place straight after the events of Halloween 1.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who know, well, if you haven't seen it by now, at the end of Halloween 1, Dora Pleasance, Dr. Sam Loomis, guns down Michael Myers. He falls off a balcony, basically, into a grass field, and is believed dead. Until Sam Loomis turns around to Laurie Strode to console her, make sure she's alright, turns back round to try and see if Michael Myers is, who's now gone. That was supposed to just be left open-ended. That was never supposed to actually be carried on with. That was just John Carpenter leaving it open-ended and saying to the audience, Michael Myers could be anywhere. It's sort of the thought process he's sort of trying to give you. And then of course Halloween 2 happens, and so Halloween 1 and 2 were a pretty big success, and at that point they trusted John Carpenter a bit more, I suppose. And then came Halloween 3, which was an absolute bomb. The box office did terribly. And that's simply because people wanted to see Michael Myers.
So I guess he came back in the fourth one, obviously, but then
at that point, John Carpenter had nothing to do with it.
He didn't want to do no more Halloween.
He walked away after Halloween 3. Halloween 3 came and went. He was involved with Halloween 3, I think, as the producer. And basically, he walked away at that point. He was no longer involved with the franchise, with the project. He walked away from Halloween 4 onwards. He's pretty much not involved.
Have you not seen the you've not seen the Rob Zombie ones? Have you heard anything about them?
I've heard a lot about them, yes.
I've only seen the first one. I've not even seen the second one they brought out. But
okay. And
I'm more into the originals, so yeah.
What's your opinion for Zombies Halloween?
Well, on the first one, which is the one I've seen, it was okay, but being a fan of the originals, I didn't really take much, taking much of it, because.
But this is a problem I've seen a lot of people. Hi, Mr. Lambert.
Hello.
This is a problem I've seen a lot of people struggle with. They've seen the original films, and as I've said in the video of mine, people class Halloween 1 and 2, the original, 1978 and 1981, as the same film, basically, because they continue after each other. When it comes to Rob Zombie's Halloween and Halloween 2, Halloween 2 has very little to do with the original Halloween 2. Although it is set in hospital, it has very little to do with it. It actually takes place 10 years, well, apparently, it takes place 10 years after the events of the original Rob Zombie's Halloween, from what we understand. Rob Zombie has given vague sort of clues as to when it takes place. 2 seconds, I'm going to take a quick drink. Where was I?
Hello, Adam.
Hello, Adam. Yes, so people love the first 2 films. They cherish the first 2 films. And then Rob Zombie gives it a go himself. And then people are sort of watching it thinking, okay, is he going to do John Carpenter justice, blah, 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 and then the film comes out that comes out. Now, I think a lot of people, as you just did, measure it against the previous film. I think when I watch it, I'm going to class it as its own film.
Yeah, I guess that's the right thing to do, really, because you can't compare it with the originals, not at all.
That's. I mean, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I'm not disregarding people's opinion, but I think the way to go into it is to class them as different films, especially Halloween 2. Because although it takes inspiration from Halloween 2, the 1981 version, it's not the same film, basically.
Is there a certain... Sorry, you were still
That's right.
saying... I was just going to say, is there a certain movie that you read about in the set you've got that appeals to you more than any of the other ones, or...?
At the moment, the ones appealing to me the most are the Rob Zombie ones, because they're so divisive among the community. Halloween 6, because it has the producer's cut included, and the producer's cut and the theatrical cut are completely different, but they're very different between the two. In fact, so much so that a couple of the kills are actually completely different and happen completely differently in the producer's cut than they do in the theatrical cut. Halloween 2, obviously, because it takes place after. And Halloween H2O, because a lot of people say Halloween H2O actually is a very good film.
Halloween H2O actually is one of my favourite ones.
I mean, I don't know if people know the story behind Halloween H2O, but obviously they managed to get Jamie Lee Curtis back. They wanted to come back with a bit of a impact, basically. So they got the producer from Scream. So the Scream films came out and completely rejuvenated the slasher franchise and the horror franchise, and did really well. So everybody was trying to imitate the Scream formula. And so in order to try and do that, and they also had Jamie Lee Curtis back, so they gave it even more power or credence. They basically came full force with Halloween H2O, and I've heard everybody say it's actually a good film. It's a rollicking good film.
Are there any other horror films you're into, like, wanting to check out?
I wanted to check out the Saw franchise. I'm very, very wary of carrying on. I've seen the first film numerous times. The first film is fantastic. As someone who doesn't watch horror films, I strongly recommend anybody watch the first Saw film. It is absolutely brilliant. Watching it again, what I'll say to people is there's a pretty big twist at the end, basically. The whole premise of the film is there's a pretty big twist at the end that doesn't actually reveal itself till towards the end of the film. In fact, there's a few twists at the end of the film that don't reveal themselves until the end. And watching the film for a second time, you can actually see throughout the film they make nods to those twists, basically. So even if you could probably work out what they are, what I'm trying to say, but they are very, very clever. And for those who don't know, of course, the original Saw was done by the producers or the makers of Seven.
So, producers of what?
Seven.
Right.
You've never heard of Seven?
No, yeah, I've heard of it, but never seen it.
Directed by David Fincher, considered one of the best films ever made by a lot of people. Are
they making any more Saw films, as you know? Or?
I believe they're done.
Yeah.
This year marks the 10th anniversary of the Saw franchise, and they're sort of talking about what that means to people. It's possible there's going to be a fan documentary about that. There's going to be a 10th. I don't think there's going to be a 10th anniversary, but they're currently in the process of gathering up fan interviews and fan reactions to Saw over the years, and they're going to release that as I don't know if it's standalone DVD or Blu-ray or whatever.
Would you like to see the? Would you like to see the? See a documentary made of them?
Of Saw? I'd like to see what people thought of it, because as the series went on, it became, as people call it, torture porn. it became more violent for the sake of more violence, especially one of the last films that basically ramped up the gore to 12, from what I understand, or from what I've been told by people.
Sorry.
That's right. What are you going to say?
I was just going to say I've seen up to the 5th one, because I think that was the one with Julie Benz in.
It is.
Yeah. I think I only saw up to those ones, and I hadn't seen the latest ones. So.
Well, 6 onwards. Yeah, 6 is the one that I've been told by everybody that bring a 6 on, basically.
So it's the most sickest.
I've been told by a lot of people to bring a 6 on. If I ever get around to watching that, which I don't know if I have. I've been told a lot of people, you know there's a reverse bear trap in some of the films. Basically, you get to see one of those happen in full force.
Yeah.
So, and there's some other things that happen in that film that people sort of said it is very gory, even more so than what sort of has been up to that point. So.
Okay, let's see if we can. Let's discuss a bit about what you said to me about thoughts of classic movies like Ghostbusters looking really good on Blu-ray.
Okay, if you want to lead away on this one, well, I can. I don't mind.
Okay.
Well, they have. Okay, just they are making it full rate. Okay.
Sorry?
Adam just said they have just saw 8. It's confirmed. Okay.
Oh, so there is making another one then. Huh.
That's interesting. I kind of heard since sort of 7 they were pretty much done with the franchise, but possibly not.
If they're making another one, it sounds more than likely there might be like a reboot or something.
Who knows? I don't know what happens past. Well, I know I've been told kind of what happens, but I don't know much what happens past all along, so I can't tell you whether a reboot is necessary, whether key characters are killed off, whether there's need for a reboot. I mean, I've never actually heard someone say a Saw film is bad. I've heard people say some of the films are the favourites over others, but I've never heard someone tell me say that sort of film's outright crap. You know, a lot of people have said the whole franchise is pretty good for the most part.
But then again, with other movies coming after ones that are supposed to be the final, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Fred is Dead. That was supposed to be the original and the 6th movie to end them all. And it yet again came back with the 7th, and it was supposed to be ending on the 6th film. So it's kind of similar to that, I reckon.
Anyway, on to the next subject. Oh, what have we got here? No. So the other day, me and James were talking on Skype. James has recently bought Ghostbusters 1 on Blu-ray Steelbook and said to me, "Hey, Kelly." Oh, she said hey a while ago. Sorry.
Hi, Kelly.
Just making sure I've answered everybody. Yep, okay. So James bought Ghostbusters and watched it the other day on his Blu-ray player. I asked him what he thought of it. To which he said, good, but not great. And I sort of said, well, what were you expecting? And he said, if it looked really good, he wouldn't like it. If it looked like it was done today, it would feel like a film of the 80s. So, okay, what's your take on that, James? You said it, so what's your... Elaborate.
It just wouldn't look as classic as it if it looked as though it was brand new and made today.
You went as far as to say that you wouldn't like it. What do you mean by that?
I wouldn't say exactly I wouldn't like it, but it would seem with old films, I'm just so used to with it being a bit grainy and stuff. And
Well, that's because for the past however long we've had VHS and then DVD. Now we've got something that actually
tidies up all that
look
sort of
great.
thing.
They look fantastic, you know. So, and as I said to you in the Skype conversation, Alien looks absolutely superb on Blu-ray. It looks really good. So, Missy Lambert says there's feedback issues.
What does that mean, like sound? Or...
She can hear me on your end. I don't know how you fixed it last time this happened.
Oh, let's see if I can. Is that better?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello? That's
Can you
better.
hear me?
That's better. Okay.
Yeah.
You have the magic touch. Yeah, as I was saying, Alien looks superb on Blu-ray. It looks like it was done yesterday. And the fact that most of the film was done with practical effects and very little CG adds to the fact that it just looks marvellous. Apart from the film, apart from the fact it does look a little bit dated, it looks. When I watch it on Blu-ray, I not only gleed at how good it looked, I also sort of was sad a little bit because the age of practical effects is now behind us. You know, seeing how good a practical effect film looks on Blu-ray, I then got a little bit depressed for the fact that everything nowadays has to have CG in it, basically. So, you know.
Is there any movies around, or TV show for that matter, that you'd like to see a Blu-ray release of, but like never will?
I haven't heard of anything that. What am I trying to say? I haven't heard anything at the moment that couldn't get a Blu-ray release. I don't know enough about some of the shows that I've watched to the extent that I don't know if they could get a Blu-ray release. I mean, funny enough, The Wire is getting a Blu-ray release, which people have mixed opinions about because they're taking the 4:3 aspect ratio, making it 16:9, which the creator of the show has made his feelings heard. He said it was shot in 4:3, and there was a reason for that. It wasn't a limitation at the time; it was actually shot in 4:3 for a reason. That's the style he wanted, but they're now going for 16:9. Maybe the real Ghostbusters, but I don't know if it can come to Blu-ray. I don't know what it was shot on.
That would look awesome on Blu-ray, though, I would have thought.
Sorry?
That show would have looked awesome on Blu-ray, I would have thought.
That's if it can come to Blu-ray. It's whether they use 35mm film or not.
Yeah.
Or depending on what film they used. That is the crux of it all. They have to have used the right film in order to get it to Blu-ray. So to get it to HD, to eke out the extra quality, basically.
There has been talk of doing like an X-Files release, like a TV show, on a Blu-ray, but I've been thinking of that over like, I don't know how many years, and it's still not brought out yet.
It takes time sometimes. The whole point the main question they've got to ask is, would it sell? If it won't sell, there's no point releasing it. You know, they've got to sort of gauge the opinion of fans and of the public to see if they'd be willing to shell out for yet another edition. So
would that be the same thing in saying for like a Buffy the Vampire Slayer Blu-ray or Angel for that matter?
Right, Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel, I don't know if ever will come to Blu-ray. Joss Whedon has made his opinions quite loudly heard at times. I don't know if some seasons of Buffy can come to Blu-ray, because basically at various times John Whedon has admitted that he was scrounging for things, for cameras basically. So some of the cameras he used were not up to snuff from what I've heard over the years.
So it's pretty much certain things can't really come to Blu-ray. Right?
There are literally some things that can't come to Blu-ray. Literally.
Kind of depressing in a way, isn't it? Where you say like you would really like it to and see what it's like, but it won't.
Well, I wouldn't say it's depressing. I would say people just need to do their research.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, a few years back, they released 28 Days Later onto Blu-ray. And for those of you who don't know, 28 Days Later was shot on 8mm video camera. That's how it was shot. And it looked terrible on Blu-ray, basically. Well, that version looked terrible on Blu-ray. And everyone was like, it looks terrible, why have they done this? Had nothing to do with Danny Boyle. It was just the I don't know if it was the film studio or whoever had the distribution rights just wanted to release it on Blu-ray to try and get people to buy it again.
Is that all pretty much to do with the cameras that they record on, whether they can't record in a HD format?
It's the camera and the film. As a rule, it has to be at least 35mm film in order to be able to come to Blu-ray.
Sticking with the Blu-rays, like there are for like making your own DVDs and doing certain things, is there blank Blu-rays you could buy and do the same thing with?
Yeah, of course there are.
Okay, I've just never seen any before, so okay. So, what movies or games are you hoping for this Christmas?
Over Christmas? I'm not hoping for anything. I haven't asked for any games or films over Christmas. As I said to you, the Halloween box set was part of my Christmas present. So I suppose my answer to that would be Halloween, but I've already got it. So.
I think I've told Gareth to go for what I asked for over Christmas, but on have you not?
Yeah, on Skype.
Yeah, so I'll just say it to the people on here in a minute. I've asked for Christmas, don't know whether or not I get it. If I do, I'll do a haul of it in the new year, or after Christmas. But I've asked for Ghostbusters 2, the UK Blu-ray Steelbook, a horror movie called Wolf Cop. I was recommended by Alex Trinder, I think, on here. And the Leprechaun DVD box set. You know Warwick Davis, do you guys?
I do know Warwick Davis.
Yeah, he was in a new series of films. Put a in for that one maybe. And of course Doctor Who on Blu-ray, Series 8. True Blood Season 6 and Supernatural Season 9. And I believe that they're supposed to be doing a Supernatural Season 11. I'm not too sure on that one.
I think that's the last one, isn't it?
Yeah.
They have said that there is the end is nigh for Supernatural and for True Blood actually.
Does that mean there could be another one?
Sorry?
Because I've heard that season 7 of True Blood was the last season.
It is.
Have you seen True Blood?
I've seen the first season.
What do you think of it?
I thought it was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I thought it took a very stagnant genre or subject, vampires and werewolves, and made it very interesting. It made it very adult. It was a very adult film. It really did blow my socks off with how adult it is, how serious it is. Well, it's serious, but at the same time, it also makes fun out of itself. It is a very well done series, and obviously it was done by Alan Ball, who did
6 Feet Under.
Sorry?
6 Feet Under.
6 Feet Under. He did American Beauty. So obviously he was a well-known entity, but yeah. When I've seen the first 5 episodes of 6 Feet Under, and again, that is an incredible series. It's extremely dark. I'll say that to a lot of people. If you're easily offended by death, or you're easily offended by what people could say when someone dies, do not watch 6 Feet Under. There's quite a bit in there that can would make some people cringe, but it's extremely funny if you're actually willing to accept that kind of humour.
You own it?
Sorry, I own the complete collection of 6 Feet Under. Yes, here actually.
Oh, wait.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
yeah.
Sorry?
It's like a nice set.
It's a very nice set.
Do you think you'll get True Blood if it comes in a complete box set like that?
Oh, definitely. That's what I'm waiting for.
If you're waiting for like a complete season of something, like when the season ends, it takes quite a while though, don't they, for those ones to come out? Obviously, for like a whole series to be finished and everything.
It can be upwards of 10 years. It used to be, and a HBO executive did actually say this, that HBO on average were 5 seasons in length.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas True Blood is now season 7, so that that's an exception that proves that rule. Flight of the Conchords, not Flight of the Conchords, it was Entourage. One of those went for quite a few more seasons to 5. Sopranos technically went for 7 seasons, didn't it? So.
Have you seen any of the Supernatural seasons?
No.
No.
The only Supernatural I have seen is some snippets from someone at work who watched it while on his break. So I sort of would see his tablet that he was on, see snippets of it. No, I haven't actually ever sat down and watched a Supernatural episode.
Is it not really one of the ones that interest you?
No, nothing about that. Just that I'm avoiding it for the day that a complete set comes out.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
That way.
How many altogether would you say of complete series would you own, or do you own?
Good question. That's hard to quantify because, as I've just said, I tend to go for those sets.
Yeah.
They tend to be more elaborate than the single season sets. So my collection is probably mainly comprised of complete season sets. So probably the majority of my collection is that.
Got quite a big collection of season sets then.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I could name 10 off the top of my head and probably carry on from there.
Okay.
So I own at least 10 and more than that.
And more as you get more as you.
Sorry?
And then more as you get them in when you.
No, I could think of 10 off the top of my head right now, and that's probably missing out some. I probably got more than that I'm not remembering right now.
What's the 10 you can actually think of?
Now you put me in the spot. 6 Feet Under, Sopranos. Bloody hell, I need to do this. The Wire. Lost.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think where they are. Band of Brothers, Pacific. I'm trying to think of my actual collection, think of where things are. Dexter.
Mm-hmm.
I technically own all of Merlin, but they're on single season sets. So there's not actually a complete collection, so I won't count that.
The real Ghostbusters.
Real Ghostbusters. You are correct. Get Smart.
Oh yeah, yeah. Isn't that one of the Time Lives? Another Time Life show?
It was a time lapse show. It's also a HBO show. Um, one more. Trying to think around my collection for another complete season set.
Oh, I know one.
Do you?
Yeah.
Go on then.
We've done a collaboration on it once as well. Angel.
Oh yeah, that's complete season set. Angel.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think I own that many sets that you got. That's probably yeah, you got quite a lot there. And Lost is one of your favourite shows as well, isn't it?
No, it's not actually one of my favourite shows. It's one of my favourite sets I own.
Okay.
I think as Lost went on, it got very ridiculous and very hard to follow for anybody involved. And more people that try and explain what went on, the more confused you get. So, you know, but then that's Lost in a nutshell, basically.
Do you own 24?
Yes, I own up to season 6.
Have you watched the last couple of seasons?
No, I haven't seen season 7, 8, or 9.
There's been last three. There's been 3 last seasons. What was the one when Keith and the team came into London? I believe it was.
Most recent one, Live Another Day. There was a 12-episode season.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Whereas 24 is normally 24 episodes.
Yeah. You know, excuse me, what games do you plan to play and movies or TV shows do you watch over the Christmas week? Anything?
Halloween.
Yeah.
GTA. There's a game that was included part of PlayStation Plus this month called Injustice: Gods Among Us that I would like to play, hopefully with Luke. I've actually played myself for a bit. It's actually a pretty good game, but it'll be more better to put my teeth in straight and get my English out. It'll be better to play it with someone. I keep thinking of watching Psycho, and I actually need to sit down and watch it for God's sake. Because recently, again, every so often, I hear a lot of people talk about Psycho, and then they die down a bit. They talk about Psycho. I need to sit down and actually watch it, because when I bought Halloween, people keep saying, "Have you seen Psycho?" So I've got it. You haven't watched it yet? No.
Have you watched the original you're talking about, obviously?
Sorry,
yeah?
The original Psycho.
You've not seen the remake?
I think the less we say about the remake, the better, hey?
Okay. I only bring it up because I own it.
I know you own it, and you like it.
Yeah.
But then you like the 2010 Nightmare on Elm Street, so may I say no more?
Yeah, okay.
I kid. I didn't know this, but Jamie Lee Curtis is the daughter of Janet Leigh, I think her name is, in Psycho.
I didn't know that either.
Exactly. I didn't know that. I didn't know that Jamie Lee Curtis is the daughter of her.
And I can tell you something else that I've only just realised, that in a lot of Anthony Hitchcock's Psycho movies, he stars in all his films.
He does. He has a cameo.
Yeah.
In every one of his films. Even if it's just a shadow on the set, he's still in it somehow. Yeah.
Have you seen any other Hitchcock movies, or was it just?
I haven't seen a single Hitchcock movie. It's why I bought the set that I bought.
All of them, is it?
No, 16 of them.
Okay.
There's actually quite an interesting story behind that. Basically, I don't know what happened, whether Universal Studios changed hand or something, but they found a vault in Universal Studios. In this vault was a lot of Hitchcock stuff, basically. They found a majority of his films and then started remastering them. They got to 14 and released the Masterpiece Collection. Then a year or two later, they released the Filmmaker Collection. And that's apparently what they're going to carry on doing. As they remaster the films, they're going to release a new set that contains the extra films. It seems quite bizarre to me, doing it that way. Because that way, people are going to end up spending a lot of money. Maybe that's why they're doing it, being cynical. Maybe that's why they're doing it.
Yeah.
I'll read this one first, and then I'll deal with Watch Your Own 9 in a minute. Do any of you have a favourite Christmas horror movie? Mine's Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yours, do you have one, Gareth?
Favourite horror movie?
Or
For a
Christmas?
long time, I really liked 28 Days Later. I thought it was a very interesting take on both the quote-unquote zombie franchise, and was a very good film anyway. Plus stars some interesting actors that I didn't think would be in it. Played Christopher Eccleston, of all people, playing an absolute dick in it. He was an arsehole in it. He was not a nice person at all, but then that's how he was supposed to be. It was a very, very good film. The original Halloween. Alien, I would say, is probably my favourite horror movie, if people class that as a horror movie. I know some people class that as sci-fi, so...
My favourite Christmas horror movie would have to be Black Xmas.
I don't have a favourite Christmas horror movie because I haven't seen any Christmas horror movies, so I can't answer that one. But yeah, okay.
Well, there's an original one as well, but because I haven't seen that one, I, obviously can't give any
You haven't
thought.
seen the original Black Christmas, you just saw the remake.
Yeah.
James.
And there's a remake of, there's the original of When a Stranger Calls. I need to check that one out as well, because I got the remake to that. Still a good movie, though, the remake is. Are there any remakes of a certain thing you've ever seen and you need to see the original of it?
Good question. No, because I try and watch the original first, as best to my ability.
Yeah.
I avoid a lot of remakes till I've seen the original. I'm trying to think if I've actually seen any remakes. I mean, typically remakes are in the horror franchise, so...
I've got something to say. I recently went on to IMDb and typed in Ghostbusters 3, and they're saying that they're going to start filming next year on a reboot of it. What's your thoughts of that?
Reboot of Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
I say bring it on.
Yeah?
Yep. The rumours are at the moment, or the very strong rumours are, that it's going to be a reboot and it's going to be an all-female cast. To which, not being funny, a lot of misogynistic bastards have come up the woodwork and said Ghostbusters is a male team. Why is it a male team? Just because the original was a male team. And for those who've seen the real Ghostbusters series, Janie eventually joins the team. So there was a female Ghostbuster. And for those of you who have seen the Extreme Ghostbusters, again, there is a female Ghostbuster in that. And actually, she's one of the most interesting characters in it because she's a goth. She obviously believes in all of that. She believes in the occult and the spirits and all that kind of stuff. And you see that in her character. And to be honest with you, in Extreme Ghostbusters, she's probably one of the strongest characters of the series.
Recently.
Sorry?
Have you seen Extreme Ghostbusters recently?
Yes.
The one I sent you.
I've seen pretty much all of them. The only ones I haven't seen is towards the end, because the original Ghostbusters come back towards the end.
Oh, the series. Yeah, it's a shame that's not on the set that I sent you, because that's only the first volume.
It is.
And
I don't know if there's going to be any more.
That's a shame.
Extreme Ghostbusters isn't very popular, unfortunately. It was a
Yeah.
very niche for what it was, which is a real shame because it's a fantastic show. I think Extreme Ghostbusters is incredible. I really do.
I think watch certain episodes of it on YouTube. So
It's dark in both tone and look. It's a lot more grown up than the real Ghostbusters. I think it's a really good show. I love the art style of it. I really like the art style. You know, they took a show that's beloved by so many people, and I think brought it to a new era of people in a very good way.
did you as a kid growing up, did you have the Ghostbusters toys?
Yes,
Yeah.
I had all of the Ghostbusters at one point. I had Ecto 1, I had Slimer, I had various of the ghosts that appear throughout the run of the animated series.
Firehouse, Proton Pack.
I had the Firehouse once. I had a Proto Pack. I had a PKE meter. There's probably not much else you could have gotten, but yeah, I definitely had
How about the
Ghostbusters
comics?
toys over the years.
Did you have the comics?
No, I have an annual, a Ghostbusters annual, that has a very brief story in a very short story that apparently never came to the telly. It's actually quite a dark story, although the real Ghostbusters did get quite dark in places.
Is that why they had to syndicate some of the seasons?
What's your understanding of syndication?
They have it on multiple channels.
You're not far off. What syndication basically means is once a show has its original run, like Ghostbusters, it then goes into what's syndication. And basically the way I understand syndication is the rights are offered up to as many people as possible, and then the syndication rights are bought by those people. They have the rights of then showing that show as many times as they like on their channels. A syndication rights is basically a license to print money for a lot of shows. Once a show goes into syndication, you're pretty much set for life. More often than not, syndication also allows the show to be constantly rerun.
It is. I did. How many shows have you seen as syndication?
Ghostbusters, Friends is probably syndicated. Seinfeld, I haven't seen Seinfeld, but I know Seinfeld was syndicated. Simpsons, I know Simpsons is Sky One only, isn't it? Although I'm sure over the years Simpsons probably was syndicated at one point. Although now,
I never knew Friends was though.
sorry.
I never knew Friends was.
Oh yeah, Friends is heavily syndicated. It's probably one of the most syndicated shows out there. Friends is massive. I'm pretty sure Simpsons is actually syndicated because here in the UK, Channel 4 shows Simpsons, so they probably own the syndication rights to The Simpsons.
Do you like Simpsons?
Sorry?
You like Simpsons?
There's not many people who don't like The Simpsons. I am one of these people who personally think Simpsons should stop.
Yeah. I mean, how many?
I actually think Simpsons should actually go out while it's good. But they're not. They're going to carry on going. 27, 25, something like that.
Oh my god, okay. That's a lot. What about Family Guy and that sort of one?
So I like Family Guy quite a bit. The episodes I've seen.
How about Futurama? Have you seen that one?
I like Futurama a lot, actually. Futurama is very funny. The jokes are a lot more mature than Simpsons, and also I like the fact that Futurama is very self-referential, which I like a lot.
How about Star Trek? Do you like Star Trek?
Yes. I own the original series on DVD, and I own the Next Generation on DVD. Plus, I own all the films on DVD. We've also got a couple of them on Blu-ray. At some point, I do want to upgrade my collections to Blu-ray, but that's going to be a costly endeavour. So I'll undertake that as and when I have the funds to do so.
Is there like a series out of the show that you prefer the most, like I don't know, like the original Next Generation or Deep Space Nine?
Sorry?
Is there a certain series you like more throughout the shows?
I actually grew up watching, or I grew up with the Next Generation and Voyager.
Yeah.
I would say for me, Voyager, though of course by the time Voyager came along, it was actually quite cheesy. I actually quite like Voyager. I watched Voyager quite a bit on telly when it was on. I caught it when it was probably being rerun later on.
Deep Space Nine?
Again, a lot of people. There was something quite click with Deep Space Nine for me. Oh, excuse me. A lot of people have said that. People have said you need to watch it from the beginning because you need to watch Commander Sisko become a commander of a space base rather than being a captain of a starship. You need to understand where it comes from, its origins, basically, and then go from there.
How about Stargate?
Stargate, I love. I grew up watching the Stargate. Stargate Atlantis is probably one of my top sci-fi shows ever. I think Stargate Atlantis is very good. I was extremely sad to see Stargate's universe get cancelled after only its second season. I thoroughly enjoyed the first season of Stargate Universe. I haven't seen the second season yet, but I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed the first season of Stargate Universe. But obviously it's now been cancelled. So.
How many have there been of that show?
2 seasons of Stargate Universe. There were 10 seasons of Stargate SG-1. It ran for 10 years. There were 5 seasons of Stargate Atlantis, and then there were 2 seasons of Universe. And there's been 3 movies. There was the original pilot, which was technically a movie.
Yeah.
Although you could also say the Kurt Russell film. The Kurt Russell film was a film, but
Sorry, just reading them things there. Do we have any more?
There was the Arc of Truth, and there was Continuum. I actually quite liked Continuum. Again, throughout Stargate's long run, SG-1's long run, they often dealt with the idea that of time travel, basically, and the idea that they wouldn't be able to get back. The Stargate would disappear somehow, and Continuum dealt with that storyline and that subject again. I actually quite liked Continuum, I have to say. I actually quite like the Arc of Truth as well, but
Do you like the Superman shows, like Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman?
Again, I grew up with them, so I have a fondness for them. I know they were cheesy, and they had a light-hearted approach to Superman. But I grew up with them, so I enjoyed them when I watched them. I did the other day try and watch one on telly. They are kind of hard to go back to. They are very camp in places. But then, having said that, one of the most camp shows on telly is the 1960. One of the most camp shows ever was, of course, the '66 series of Batman. But they're good for what they were,
Smallville?
I've never seen Smallville, and I've heard very mixed opinions of Smallville. So.
Do you?
Yes, I've heard. I had a friend at work who loved. I wouldn't say loved. He liked Smallville a lot, but also understood a lot of its problems and told me a lot of its problems basically, and gave me some advice of how to go into the show.
I've been looking. I haven't been looking at this recently, but do you know of any updates on the new Grim Fandango release?
Yes, it's coming out in January.
Oh, next year. Okay.
And it looks pretty damn good.
Oh, I better look at that up myself. Is that like videos of?
There's a trailer.
All right. On YouTube.
You could probably find it on YouTube.
I'll have to take a look at that later on. But you're gonna get it, are you?
Definitely. Grim Fandango is one of my all-time favourite games. It is a very, very funny, very strange in some aspects, self-referential, very funny game. It's so bizarre in some places. I mean, I don't know how many people here have actually played it, but as you said at one point, you're chucking bones into a swamp, extinguishing fire beavers.
Yeah.
I think that kind of just explains the game in a nutshell quite well. It is a bizarre game at times. Plus, you got Glottis.
Oh yeah, the big orange demon.
Big orange demon, who is just bonkers. I think it's one word you'd use for him. And he was such an imaginative. I should take those off to clean them. It was such an imaginative and creative game for its time. I mean, it'll be interesting to go back to the remake because there are aspects of Grim Fandango that are very hard to go back to. The controls were quite stiff when I played the version you sent me. There are certain jokes I think that would have been that played out better when it was newer. Yeah, stuff like that.
So it's good to look forward to see what the graphics would be like on it.
The graphics, and I'm also interested to see if they've made the controls a bit more refined, I suppose I'd say.
Were they a bit buggy? Were they before?
Sorry?
Bit buggy? Were they before?
There are some of the time in which Grim Fandango is made. It takes a while when you press the key to make Manny move. There's a bit of delay between you pressing the key and him actually moving, which isn't a fault of the game because that's how adventure games were back then. That sort of excuse me. That's just how they were. That's how controls were back then for the most part. So I'm hoping they sort of made the controls more modern.
Mm. Are there any other like classic adventure games you've played that you'd like to see a remake of? Or any other game for that matter? It don't have to be an adventure one.
Right, I've got quite an interesting view on remakes of games. How do I word this? I don't want to see a remake of a game unless they do a remake of a game, and then I want to wait to see, how that looks before I make my decision. Every game I play, I take that experience as it is, okay, and I never then think, oh, it'll be good if that game gets remade. I just go, yep, that was a good experience. If they then remake the game, I'll then go, okay, I'll check that out and see how they've handled it, okay. But I don't go, I'd like to see a remake of that game. Because the part of the point of games, in a way, is there's a certain evolution to games. And they're very much a sign of the times, often in places. I think sometimes something is lost when you remake a game. I mean, they're currently in the process of remaking the original Resident Evil.
Oh, are they?
Yes. It's the second time they've remade the original Resident Evil. For those of you who don't know, they originally remade it for the GameCube. They're now remaking it again. I mean, the original Resident Evil is, again, a sign of its times. The controls are awful to nowadays standards, but it's a sign of the times. And I fairly recently went back and played some of the original Resident Evil game. Bloody hell, things mixed up. it's hard to go back to. But again, it's nice to play old games sometimes to realise where games are going, if you know what I mean, and to be thankful for, you know, modernising controls and modernising various aspects of games.
I don't think I ever played any of the other Resident Evil games after the uh, third one.
Nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
I've played a lot. Played Resident Evil 1, 2, Nemesis, Code Veronica, Code Veronica X, which was actually a remake of Code Veronica. Although I still to this day think the best version of Code Veronica is actually on the Dreamcast. Dreamcast version of Code Veronica looks very good, and I played a lot of the Dreamcast version of Code Veronica. But I still have it. I still have it upstairs. Because when I rebought my Dreamcast, which it's a bit dusty, but here is my Dreamcast. I said it's a bit dusty because it's been under my desk, but that's my Dreamcast. When I rebought that, I actually spent quite a bit of money on Code Veronica. A friend said to me that he was in Game Station down my city centre, and he said they've got Code Veronica in there. Have they? What? Went down there, and it was a tenner. And at the time, a tenner for a Dreamcast game was expensive, very expensive actually. To put that into contrast, some of the games on the shelf were below £1.
When you buy a game, do you like getting them online, or do you like actually going to a store and looking to?
Now I go online because I work nights, as you know. It's sometimes hard to need to wake up at a reasonable time and get down to the store at a reasonable time in order to get the game back in time. Whereas if I order it online, it will be here for launch day, and when I wake up, it'll be here on my doorstep, literally.
Yeah, we can see
that. Because of my situation, my circumstances, I now order online mainly.
Is there like you got local game stores, or if you in case you needed to go to? I mean.
My nearest game store is my city centre, which is about a mile away, about a mile and a half away.
How are you getting on with your game? What do you call it? Tablet. Is it still going good?
Still doing brilliant. Although the most recent update to it, Lollipop, has actually taken away some of the exclusive features of the Shield tablet, which I'm not liking, but hey ho.
When you did that recent gameplay with Luke on a helicopter on GTA 5, was that on the tablet you recorded that on, or was that?
That was on my PS4.
Okay. Good, that was quite fun, that. Because when you was recording that, you weren't in, were you, at the time?
Sorry?
When that recording started.
Yeah, what do you mean?
When you was doing your commentary, you said you weren't in at the time of when it was recording. Was it work or something?
Did you even listen to it?
Bit.
During the first part of it, I was away getting changed for work. I was getting changed into my work uniform. Just before I left to do that, Luke said to me, "Don't worry, Gareth, I'll grab a plane and pick you up on this very small stretch of beach." And then, as you saw in the video, failed to do so. Unfortunately, I didn't actually get the footage, but there is some footage of one of Luke's friends picking us up in a helicopter afterwards, but I didn't get that footage, unfortunately.
I just have with another thought of another Lucas 8 Arts game being remade. I don't know what you think of it though. Day of the Tentacle. That was a remake.
Day of the Tentacle as a remake. I mean, they've basically done Summer Max. They've done Monkey Island, so they're possibly going to do Maniac Mansion. Rod Gilbert did Maniac Mansion with Tim Schafer, has on occasion sort of teased whether people would want a HD Maniac Mansion, and people have sort of said, yeah, it would be interesting to see one. So, again, I reserve judgment and reserve opinions until I actually see what it looks like.
We've got some, I don't know if you've read it yet. Broken Sword remake for PS4. Would that be interesting for you?
Broken Sword remake for PS4. Where did you see this?
From Adam at the bottom of the questions.
Oh, I'm just looking. Oh, he's saying it would be interesting. I thought he was saying it's being confirmed. Again, I don't mean to sound as if I'm trying to avoid the question, but I don't like to say opinions of remakes of games until I actually see the remake or the redo, because games are such a transient media, and completely open to interpretation of the creator or the creative mind behind the games. You never know what they're going to look or feel like. You know, there's some remakes of games that have gone completely different left field approach to remaking the games, which sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. So,
Have you seen any of the Gotham episodes?
Gotham? No.
No. Not interested, or?
I'm interested.
Yeah.
Just waiting to see where they go with the show.
There's a show I might catch on the Netflix at some point. The not remakes on the mind, talk about the games and stuff. The From Dusk Till Dawn TV show.
Yes. That was left field when I heard that was announced.
Are you a fan of the films?
The first film, yeah. I've watched that film more times than I dare to count.
I'd suggest that that's one of your favourite horrors.
I think the film was fantastic. It's so well done, and it's just it's such a fun film. You can tell that George Clooney was having a rollicking time while he was shooting that film. You could see he had a massive, really good time. You could see all of the cast were having a really good time shooting that film, and it comes off in the film. I think it's a really, really good film. I think.
Have you seen the sequels?
No.
No. Maybe you should stay away from them.
I've heard.
You know, I've got them just because of being completist sake, but they're not that good. I think maybe the TV show might be better. Yeah, because it's still got the characters from the first film.
They do.
Played by others, obviously, but I think it looks okay.
We'll see.
Yeah.
There's some aspects of it I'm on the edge about from watching trailers. I haven't actually seen any of the episodes, but we'll see.
You're on the edge of it, are you?
There's some aspects of it the trailers kind of make out that I'm not too sure about. Obviously, the whole point of the TV series is to kind of explain why they weren't phased when they went into the Titty Twister, and you know suddenly there were vampires there. You know that they kind of had dealt with that before within that universe. There's just aspects that you know.
What's your thoughts of other like TV shows being made from movies like Hannibal and I just mentioned From Dusk Till Dawn, and what else is there?
Gotham.
Yeah.
I think nowadays people, the whole reason why we see so many TV shows from movies nowadays is because people want to see those universes in a lot more in depth. I want to see them more, and the only way to do that is to make them a TV show. I don't think movies will ever go away, but I think there will be a time at some point where how do I word this? They would make it into a TV series before they put it into a film.
My opinion would be keep it as a film and not as a TV show, because
Why?
I guess it makes you not look at the movie in the same light again.
What do you mean?
You might think less of the film after seeing the show, thinking that the show's better than anything else.
And what's wrong with that?
No, nothing's wrong with it, but something that's being made years ago that's interesting that I just concerned that if I see from dusk till dawn a TV show, which I'm going to do it, I just think that I might like that more than up to the movies. And
There's nothing wrong with that. Your opinions change over time. As you see more things and experience more things, your opinions change. That's why they're called opinions.
Have yours opinions changed on stuff?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's why I don't like to use the word review. I hate the connotation review has to people. Absolutely despise it. When you say to review to someone, they think that is the verbatim way, that is the way they must experience the show. That is the what I'm trying to say. That is it has a certain trigger in their mind when you say review to someone, and often when they don't like when you review something, when they go and watch it and they don't like it, they then go back and blame the reviewer. They have a go at the reviewer for reviewing it in the first place and saying it was a good film, whereas review actually means it's the opinions of the person doing the review, whereas people have taken the word review and giving it a whole different meaning. And I don't like. Sorry?
So if you did some sort of video and it was about a set or something, would you call it like an overview or just your thoughts?
Overview, my opinions, my thoughts.
Yeah.
I try my best to veer away from the word review because it just has a certain a perception among people, which I don't like. I really don't.
I was watching a retrospective on YouTube last night on Ghostbusters 2.
Mm-hmm.
And, what does the word retrospective mean?
A retrospective is to go back and look at something from the eye of nowadays, basically, or when the retrospective was done. So it's to look back on Ghostbusters 2 back in 1986. 1989. And to look at its impact on pop culture, look at its impact over the years, look at if the film actually stands up nowadays, that sort of stuff.
So back again with the Ghostbusters reboot thing with the all-female cast, which sounds interesting, but do you think like Dan Aykroyd from the original Ghostbusters team will have to teach them how to be Ghostbusters and that sort of stuff?
Right, it's a completely different universe. In the universe they exist in, the original Ghostbusters never were.
Ah, okay. That's the direction they're going to be going in.
There's rumours that they might have cameos. That Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and Ernie Hudson may have cameos. Obviously, Harold Ramis did record some stuff before he sadly passed away, but whether they use that footage is entirely up to them.
Oh, so they sort of started recording some stuff right now then?
It's been in production for the last 5 to 8 years, I think.
Yeah.
And basically, there were a few setbacks anyway with Harold Ramis's untimely death. That's why they now decided to make it a reboot.
Mm.
It was basically
supposed to be a direct sequel, wasn't it, to the second one?
It was going to be Ghostbusters 3. The thought process that was going to happen is that in some way the original Ghostbusters were going to teach a young team of Ghostbusters to Ghostbust. Maybe even a couple of the Ghostbusters actually be ghosts themselves, because at that point they would have been dead.
The game acted like a third sequel as well, didn't it? Because that sort of, it was set a year after the second film.
Mm-hmm. It was.
Sorry?
It was.
Yeah.
Whether they were going to go for the approach they were going to turn the game into a film, they could do that. I would actually say Ghostbusters the game is one of the best movie-based games ever made. It's actually a very, very, very good game. You know, it puts you... It's exactly what I wanted from a Ghostbusters game. Exactly what I wanted from a Ghostbusters game. It puts you in control of the Ghostbusters and all of the gadgets that Ghostbuster gets to use. It's a really, really good game.
Do you get to, like, I don't know, meet characters from the movie and stuff? I mean, I know Slimer's in it, but
You do what, sorry?
and stuff, like, you know.
Vigo's not in it. Gozer is in it, in a sense. All of the cast return. They've reprised their roles. So Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, Harold Ramis, and Bill Murray all reprise their roles as their respective Ghostbusters. I can never remember her name, but the person who plays Janie is in it.
Annie Potts.
Jeannie. Annie Fox, thank you. Annie Fox is in it. Slimer's in it. Walter Peck is in it. Everybody you know from the Ghostbusters films are in it.
Didn't they make another game afterwards called something Slime?
Sanctum of Slime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not like a sequel to the game, though?
No.
Actually, I think I remember seeing Zoe and Isaac playing it. It was like a comic book thing.
It's a dual stick shooter.
Yeah.
Set in the... It's got some interesting thoughts and inspirations about it, but it's a bit of an arcadey game. I would say it's a bad game, not a brilliant game, but
Have you played it?
Yeah, it's worth a look. Definitely worth a look.
You ever played any other like motion comic games?
No, I don't think I've actually played a motion comic game.
No.
Simply because when those sort of games were around, I was probably too young to play them, in the sense that I didn't have the patience to sit down and read through the, reams of dialects to actually get some action.
I played one.
Alright, what was that?
It was The Mask, like made from a spin-off of The Mask starring Jim Carrey. It was an okay one. Too long ago to remember it. There might be a video on YouTube or something, I don't know, but at the time it was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You like The Mask?
I love The Mask.
Yeah.
I think The Mask is a fantastic film. And I think in some ways, it's actually a underappreciated Jim Carrey performance. A lot of people forget it's Jim Carrey.
When he's got the actual mask on.
Yeah, there's so many people who forget it's Jim Carrey, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that was Jim Carrey, wasn't it?" Like, yeah, it was. How good he was in it. And I've said this till the end of time. Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice, bloody hell, that man can act when he wants to. I don't know who else could have done Beetlejuice.
Would you have liked to have seen a sequel of Beetlejuice?
It's funny you say that. What do you think I mean by that?
I don't know.
It's in production right now.
Is it?
There's a Beetlejuice 2.
And is it going to be him?
It's produced by Tim Burton.
Michael Keaton?
Michael Keaton is in it.
Oh,
Winona Ryder is in it. There's been some. Tim Burton has teased some stuff about it, of what it's actually going to be. The current rumour is that it's going to look a lot like A Nightmare Before Christmas. That sort of style. Because the majority of it takes place in the afterworld.
Oh, this is more like an animation.
Yes, that's the rumour at the moment. It could be an animation. But, yeah, Tim Burton has said he's not directing it. But the person who is directing it, he has a lot of faith in. But I don't think he's revealed who's directing it yet.
Have you seen any of the Beetlejuice cartoon TV show?
I grew up watching the cartoon TV show, yes.
I don't remember seeing parts of it.
Alright.
More so, I've seen the Tales from the Crypt Keeper. That's like the spin-off of Tales from the Crypt.
Yep, I grew up watching that show on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Nickelodeon? No, it was Disney Channel. It was Disney.
What about Tales from the Crypt itself? Have you seen that show?
Sorry?
Tales from the Crypt, the live-action program.
I haven't seen any Tales of the Crypt. At some point, I do want to get hold of it. A lot of people have said I'd enjoy the show. Because the whole point in Tales of the Crypt is that each episode has a moral at the end of it. So that's the whole point of it. And I would like to get it at some point.
Mm-hmm. Did you know that? Have you seen Bill and Ted?
Have I seen Bill and Ted?
You're bound, yeah, I'm sure you have. Did you know they were going to
Radical, dude.
a third one?
What's that?
Did you know they're going to be thinking of making a third one?
No, and I hope they don't.
You prefer the first two, yeah?
The whole point of Bill and Ted is it's a product of its time. You look at Keanu Reeves and I can never remember the other guy, unfortunately. You look at the whole point of the film was that it was a film of the 80s. Both of them were films of the 80s. I think the second was probably done early 90s. But they were such a product of their time. The music, the style of the films, everything about them were just products of the 80s. The music involved with the films, everything was just, and if I think they tried to do it nowadays, it wouldn't work. I don't think it would work.
If there was a game made of Beetlejuice, would that be of interest?
I've said this before, and there's actually a game creator called American McGee who has made some very interesting games over the course of the years. I would say American McGee is probably the Tim Burton of games, although he takes the games into a far darker direction. He's done quite a few interesting games. I don't know how well a Tim Burton game would translate over. Having said that, Nightmare Before Christmas, there was a game of that, which was actually pretty good, dare I say. But I'm sure people know this. Of course, Tim Burton didn't direct Nightmare Before Christmas; he produced it.
We got something here from Adam saying, James, you could check out a show called Grimm. Is that Grimm?
Yep.
Think you would like it. It's made by the same people who produced Angel of Buffy. So Joss Whedon did it then?
No, Joss Whedon's doing the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, what's Grimm then?
Joss Whedon was the creator of Angel and Buffy.
Yeah.
This is being done by the people who produced Angel and Buffy. So that was David Greenwald, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen Grimm?
No, and I would like to at some point check it out.
I'll have to read on what it's about because I have no idea of what it's about.
It's based upon Grimm fairy tales.
Okay.
Do you know any Grimm fairy tales?
No.
If I told you you did but didn't realise it.
Sorry?
If I told you you did but didn't realise it.
Yeah.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
They're
Grimm fairy
good.
tale. Sleeping
Okay.
Beauty. Grimm fairy tale.
Okay.
Emperor's New Clothes. A Grimm fairy tale. The difference being is they're a lot darker than the ones you know of. Than the Disney version, shall we say. They're a lot darker.
Is that why it's called Grimm?
Nope, they're called Grimm because they're known as the Brothers Grimm. Spelt Grimm. That was their name.
Do you like many Disney films? Bring us to us like Disney.
Again, I don't think there's many people who can tell and say they don't like Disney films, but I would say I've sort of grown past them somewhat. I'm nowhere near as mad on them as some people are. I know there's some people who lap them up no matter what. You know, as soon as a Disney film comes out, oh, I'm gonna see that. I'm gonna get it. Blah blah blah. I'm not like that. But
Do you like the Pirates of the Caribbean films?
no,
No.
I think we have the first one.
Sorry, was
I
that?
think we have the first one. I think.
Mm. So, oh, I think you got it. I need Edward Scissorhands
No, I haven't got Edward Scissorhands.
because I know you got the Tim Burton box set. That might have been in that.
Edward Scissorhands isn't in there
Okay.
because it wasn't done by Warner Brothers.
Ah, okay. So it's done by the certain studio in that box set.
That box set is a Warner Brothers done set. So anything that Tim Burton's done with Warner Brothers is in that set.
Oh, so no, it's Beetlejuice. That's the one you got, yeah.
Batman Returns, Beetlejuice, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Mars Attacks, Corpse's Bride, Sweeney Todd, Demon Barber with Fleet Street.
Mars Attacks. I like that one.
They're all in there. Sorry.
Mars Attacks. That's a good one.
Is that it? I think that's it. It's all the ones that are in that set. There's 8 films in total, I think. 8?
I love Mars Attacks. That was a great one.
I've never seen Mars Attacks. Funny enough.
You haven't seen it yet?
No, I've never seen Mars Attacks. Of all the films, I've seen most of Tim Burton's films. I haven't seen Mars Attacks.
Have you ever thought we'll do another collaboration one day, just out of interest?
We've discussed this.
On Blade, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah. At some point?
At some point.
Okay. I really enjoyed that show, you know, the one you sent us? Really enjoyed that one. It's just
What show?
Blade, the TV show.
Yeah.
Such a good show that I wish it was more, you know, but it was just sad it was only just one season.
It was axed even before it ended.
Shame. It was a great show, and the ending was a bit weird, but that was a bit of a cliffhanger. But you didn't see any more of it because, of course, that was the one they made, wasn't it? So.
That's the whole point. It was axed even before it's finished. It was axed like after the 6th episode, and it was actually wasn't on telly past the 6th episode. I actually had to download it after that in order to actually watch it any further. Because most of the episodes on that box set were never on TV.
All right. What channel was it on that had the episodes that was shown?
I can't remember.
I believe it being Channel 5, but I could be wrong.
No, it wasn't Channel 5. I can't remember which channel had it. I'm trying to think who owns the Blade license and who would have done it. Sony owned the Blade license. I don't know actually who. I think Sony owned the Blade. It doesn't matter, but I can't remember who did it, but or what channel it was on.
Do you like Matrix?
Yes,
All of them?
all of them.
Yeah.
I think the last one, Revelations, has its problems, but it also has some interesting elements to it. If you're willing to look a bit deeper.
I like the first and second one more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Particularly the first one, you know, how Neo first gets to find out what the real world is, and takes that pill and becomes, you know, finds out that everything is machine.
The thing about the Matrix, obviously, it was such a cornerstone of modern cinema making, and was such a gamble in some ways, and such a big production movie. I mean, I don't know if people know this, but in order to get those shots where they go all the way around the people, isn't done by CG. It's done by like 300 odd cameras put around the room.
Oh, I think I know yeah.
Like hundreds of cameras are put around the room. That's how they get those shots.
You know what my favourite part is in the first movie?
Mm-hmm.
It goes near the end when I think it's Trinity is trying to save is it Morpheus? Or it might be around the part of that scene where she shoots one of the agents and says, "Dodge this."
Mm-hmm.
Is there a certain movie you prefer? Do you like the first one more?
I would probably go for Reloaded. The reason why I'd go for Reloaded is because that's when Neo finds out he can actually take on the agents, mano v mano. You know, he could actually take them on in a fist fight. Whereas in the first one, they're all trying to avoid the agents because they can't take them on because the agents are too powerful. Whereas in the second movie, Neo's like, I know I'm powerful enough to take on the agents, so I'm going to do so. And at one point takes on hundreds of copies of Agent Smith, doesn't he?
Yeah.
When he's got the pole and does the fairly famous part where he spins around the pole, kicking them all. Yeah, I would probably veer more towards Reloaded for that, but I still very much respect the cultural cornerstone that is the first Matrix film.
What about the Animatrix? Because that's the animated one, wasn't it?
Right, the Animatrix, I've seen all of them. I have all of them. The Animatrix is a very interesting. They are very interesting proof of concepts. Each Animatrix is only about 5 to 10 minutes long, and they're interesting. They're very interesting looks into different aspects of the Matrix world. I mean, there's one scene where there's I believe there are a couple, and they have swords, and basically they're fighting each other with these swords. And as it progresses, you slowly realise they're not actually hurting each other; they're cutting off each other's clothes. They're basically having a strip fight, for lack of a better term. The whole purpose of what they're doing is to strip the other player of their clothes, other person of their clothes, other person of their clothes. And it's a very interesting scene. Oh, but they're both blindfolded. I should say at the same time, they're both blindfolded as well. But that was a very interesting part of the Animatrix. Yeah, the Animatrix is interesting.
How about like Terminator? Do you like that?
Yes, I love the first Terminator film. And in fact, I was talking to Luke last night. A lot of people class the first Terminator film as a slasher film in some aspects.
Really?
Yes.
I wouldn't have thought that, but okay.
No? Well, when you think of the premise of the first Terminator film, and then you think of the premise of most slasher films, they have a lot of similarities. You know, the Terminator was sent back in time to kill Sarah Connor, so he goes through murdering everybody that's called Sarah Connor. You know, Michael Myers, spoiler alert, everybody, goes around trying to kill everybody who's called Laurie Strode, or you know, connected to Laurie Strode in some way. Well, Michael Myers just murders anybody, same as the Terminator. Actually, he just goes into a bar full of bikers and kills them all, doesn't he? You know, and James Cameron has said he did get inspiration for the character of Terminator from the likes of Michael Myers. He wanted a big, foreboding sort of entity, and that's what the Terminator is. And of course, Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, to a certain extent, Freddy Krueger are, you know, foreboding entities.
What's your opinion on the second one? Do you know that one?
Second one is fantastic. The second one is so well done, and I think does the whole point of the second Terminator film for me is that it uses CG to its absolute advantage. You know, it brings in the T1000.
Yeah,
the liquid metal.
Made by Robert Patrick.
Yeah.
The metal.
The liquid metal one. That film couldn't have been done without CG, and it was done so well with CG. It was done so well. I really like the second film. I would say personally I prefer the first one because I prefer the tone of it. I prefer that it's a bit more of a tense film, because of course you've got you know, Arnie constantly going for Sarah Connor or Linda Hamilton, whereas the second one is a lot more of an action film.
How about the third?
The third, I actually quite like the third. I actually think it's not as bad as some people make it out to be. You know, there's a lot of people who think it's absolute trash. I don't think it's absolute trash. It's a bit of fun at the end of the day. It's it is very much self-aware in parts, like the part where the female Terminator actually makes her breasts bigger in order to, you know, convince that man to get out of his car. Stuff like that I think is actually kind of funny in a satirical type of way. It's very much a look upon the human psyche.
Mm-hmm.
In some ways, and of course as the film goes on, it just becomes a war between, you know, Arnie and the female Terminator.
Now I can't say anything about the fourth one because I've not seen that one.
Nor have I.
But have you seen the trailer, the latest one, Genesis?
I've seen the trailer.
What do you think it'd be like? Do you think it'd be any good?
Hearing what they've revealed so far about Genesis, sorry, I've just been distracted by a comment I just read. Anyway, what they've said about Genesis, and it's very confusing, is that if you watch the trailer, there are actual scenes straight out of previous Terminator films. Apparently it's like a time-travelling movie that takes place over the course of the previous Terminator films. It seems a bit strange to me in some ways. I don't know if they're going to retcon. Sorry, I use retcon quite a bit, but I don't know if they're going to forget the previous films, just go for a new style, or it seems strange to me what their approach with Genesis. It does seem rather strange to me, but we'll see. We'll see.
Tim Burton was going to do Pirates of the Caribbean 5, but I'm not sure if he's still doing that or somebody else now.
That I would like to see. I would like to see Tim Burton take up the mantle of Pirates of the Caribbean. I think.
Do you think that would make the series better?
I don't think Disney are going to stop doing Pirates of the Caribbean because it makes so much money for them. At the same token, I do think it needs a bit of a revamp. Tim Burton is definitely someone that they could use because they have him in their back pocket, for lack of a better term. I don't mean that in a cynical way at first it appears. I do feel as if he would. All the directors they have to hand, I suppose, he's probably one of the ones that would maybe, rejuvenate it a little bit. His style would pair quite well up with Pirates of the Caribbean.
Would that change your thoughts on it then if it was done by him?
What do you think my thoughts are?
Oh, I don't know. Because when you said that you had the first one, you weren't all that keen on the sequels?
It's out. I've seen the first 3 films and enjoyed what I've seen.
Okay.
I wouldn't say they're the most, they're not masterpieces or anything like that, but they're meant to be masterpieces. They're just meant to be fun films. At the end of the day, Pirates of the Caribbean is based upon a ride in one of the Disney parks, so there's only so much you can do with it. For what I've seen, I've enjoyed. I mean, I really enjoyed the first one. I think it's a very clever film because it's a ghost story, and of course those sort of ghost stories were very prevalent during the time it's set. And it's a very self-aware film. Just adjust my camera slightly. But I do believe, as it's gone on, like any long-running franchise, it gets a bit stale. Needs something to rejigger it, to freshen it up a little bit. And Tim Burton is probably one of the people to do it. I mean, they've already got Johnny Depp involved with it, and we all know that Johnny Depp and Tim Burton work pretty well together. So why not?
Mm-hmm. Are there anything in the next year or so coming out that you'd like to see or get?
I really want to get on Blu-ray. I want to get The Imitation Game, which is the story of Alan Turing, and The Theory of Everything, which is the story of Stephen Hawking. I definitely want to get those 2 on Blu-ray when they come out. In the next year or so, there's of course Avengers 2 next year, Age of Ultron, coming out. I'm very excited to see. Apart from that, not a lot. Again, like a lot of people, I am kind of jaded by the current Hollywood style, the way they crank things out, I've become a bit jaded about films over the years, but like a lot of people, but
Ooh, let's go back to Halloween for a minute.
Okay.
What's the I haven't seen them yet, but are you looking forward to seeing the 4th one?
I've actually been told by quite a few people, and I'm going to do this anyway, is to avoid the 3rd one and then watch it on its own later on. Is watch all the Michael Myers Halloweens and then watch Halloween 3 on its own. I'm actually quite looking forward to watching, obviously I said the 2nd one. The 5th one, incidentally, because the other day at work, again, and I keep mentioning him, but anyway, Luke was sending me a bunch of videos through WhatsApp because he was watching it at the time, and I liked the opening sequence of Halloween 5, the opening title sequence is very flashy and very, very slick, I think. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. As I said, I'm looking forward to seeing Halloween 6 and the producer's cut to see what the difference between the 2 is. Again, I'm interested in seeing Rob Zombie's take on the films. And I'm interested to have my own opinions on why they're so divisive among fans.
How about Resurrection and H2O?
H2O I'm looking forward to because again I've heard no one saying it's a bad film. I've heard a lot of people say it's a pretty good film. Resurrection, I'll definitely watch it, but I'll go with it with.
Can I have some of that strawberry milk? You must be so scared. I'll be right back a minute.
Bye, James. We'll just wait for James to come back, guys. It shouldn't be too long.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Where were we? Resurrection, wasn't it?
Resurrection. As I was going to say, I know about behind. Well, obviously, yeah, I know a lot about what happened behind the scenes of Resurrection, and the fact that Jamie Lee Curtis was contractually obliged to do Resurrection, which I think was a bit of a dick move from the producers. So I can understand why it had the problems it had. I've been told by people just to take it as it is, take it as a bit of a silly film. It's not serious in any way. You know, just take it as a bit of fun. You know, just take it as a way of taking up an hour and a half of your time, basically, and not much more than that.
Okay, do you think there'll be any more sequels to the Rob Zombie ones?
The funny thing is, I've said this in my videos, and I'll say it again. The how Halloween came into this complete set was basically Miramax / Dimension went out of business a few years back. They went to administration, and of all people, Disney bought them.
I didn't think that'd be a very good Halloween movie.
I don't know. I would have liked to have seen Disney do a Halloween movie. It could have been interesting. You never know. You never know. You know, Halloween 11, whatever they want to call it, with the Disney title at the start would have been quite funny, I think. Get Tim Burton.
Viewers as well.
Get Tim Burton involved. There we go. Imagine a Halloween with Tim Burton. Maybe not. Anyway.
I don't know. It might be alright.
So anyway, going back to what we were saying. Basically, Rob Zombie in an interview, someone said to him, "Will there be a third Halloween film from you?" He accidentally revealed that he was in talks with Disney. As he said Disney went, "Oops, I'm not supposed to say that." And they sort of said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Okay, I suppose I better tell you. Disney have just secured Dimension / Miramax, which of course were the company who did his Halloween films and the earlier Halloween films. I don't know how the rest of the Halloween films ended up under one roof. Because Dimension owned some of the Halloween films, they didn't own all of them, unless Disney went away and bought the whole lot. I mean, they've definitely got enough money to do that, and enough legal weight to do that. Unless they then went away and did that. I don't know if Disney still own the rights. Obviously, Anchor Bay have purchased some rights to Halloween, hence the set. But you just asked me, would there be another Halloween film? Unfortunately, it's apparent that Michael Bay's film company has bought rights to the Halloween franchise. So it looks like Halloween 11, for lack of a better title right now, looks like it's going to be done in some way by Michael Bay. Obviously, a lot of people know that Michael Bay did the 2010 Nightmare on Elm Street. So, needless to say, people are not happy with the fact that he's involved with Halloween at this point, if that's true. It may just be...
It's going to be done by him, be quite a crap one then.
It may just be that he's purchased the film rights because no one else has. That may be the case. It may be that he's got the money and the weight in order to do that, but he's going to pass it over to someone else. I doubt that. Because Michael Bay's...
Yeah, have you seen the trailer for the new Star Wars?
2 seconds. Michael Bay is quite an arrogant person. Well, you can say he's quite an arrogant person anyway. So I don't know if he has the or is willing to take the hit to his own ego in order to pass it over to someone else. We'll see. We'll see. Obviously, the home distribution rights, I believe, now belong to Anchor Bay, and I've got a bit more information about that in a minute. And maybe he's purchased the film, or purchased some of the film rights. I don't know. As I said in a video of mine, Anchor Bay are currently in talks with Sainsbury's, of all people, to bring it to the UK. Also, Anchor Bay are in talks with Tesco, yes, Tesco's, to bring Halloween digitally to the UK, to bring it to their streaming service, Blinkbox. I said in the video of mine that I think that's quite interesting because Blinkbox, Tesco's have of course launched their Hulu tablets. Hulu tablets? Huddle tablets, sorry, not Huddle. Hulu's another streaming service. Huddle tablets. And they're doing pretty well. I mean, the Huddle 2 is generally revered as a good tablet. And Tesco have their own streaming service called Blinkbox. I think it would be a very good business decision of theirs to purchase the HD digital distribution rights of Halloween, and then they can start producing adverts where they can go, guess what, guys? We have the whole Halloween franchise in HD coming to our streaming service. That's a lot of weight, a lot of credence to Tesco's. So I actually think, from a business decision wise, that's actually quite a smart business decision for Tesco's to do that, if they can actually get that confirmed. It would be a very big selling point for them. The Sainsbury's thing, though, is kind of interesting. The Tesco's one is quite readily findable on the internet. The Sainsbury's one, I have to do a bit of digging for, and whether it's actually true or not, depends. We'll see what happens. But Anchor Bay are in talks with British-based distribution companies to bring the Halloween Blu-ray box set to the UK. So anybody who can't shell out the cash for it to import it, and I completely understand if you can't, it is coming to the UK at some point. Anchor Bay are in talks with UK-based companies.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yes, there's quite a bit of. I did do a bit of research. There's quite a bit of information out there that Anchor Bay are talking to people. It just depends on how it comes to the UK and how it's released, all that kind of stuff.
They couldn't do like a replica box set of what there was released, like the one you got.
I think part of the problem is they went to Screen Factory, I believe, actually fronted some of the cash they needed to bring this box set to fruition, to bring it to markets. So Screen Factory had an investment. I don't know if there's some sort of exclusivity rights associated with it. That may be the case. It may be exclusive to Screen Factory for a year or something along those lines. I don't know. From the research I've personally done, I have heard that Screen Factory did front some of the cash for it. So that's why, of course, it's gone to Screen Factory. And of course, Screen Factory have no European-based distribution centres. So if they were to bring it over to the UK, it would be very expensive to do it that way. It would be a lot of money because any set you order would be imported from America no matter what. It would be region B because it'd have to be because it's being sold in a European-based region, but it would be very expensive to do it that way. Very expensive for both the end user and for Anchor Bay and Screen Factory to do that. Plus, Screen Factory is very much an American-based company, so.
Star Wars. You a Star Wars fan, start off with?
Yes.
What's your ideas of the 7th one that's going to be out at the end of next year? I believe it's Thanksgiving or Black Friday next year.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm very much looking forward to it. I actually said, and I so wish I fucking recorded it when I said it, I've been saying all along, what if J.J. Abrams was allowed to handle the Star Wars franchise. What if J.J. Abrams got Star Wars 7? And look what bloody well happened. J.J. Abrams got Star Wars 7. I was saying it way before J.J. Abrams was even confirmed as the director. See, now I can't prove it because, you know.
Are you glad he's the director now of it then?
Sorry? I am absolutely over the moon. J.J. Abrams is the director of it. I think of all people, he's probably the one that can handle it. I'm still very wary because I think part of me is saying the reason why J.J. Abrams has got it is because his reputation precedes him. His reputation from the Star Trek films he did recently, because they've done so well, he now has a reputation among fans of doing pretty good sci-fi films. Whereas there are quite a few plot holes in both the Star Trek films. Not that they are semi-reboots, still set in the same universe, you know, blah blah blah. But generally, they are very good films. The cinematography and the imagery of both the Star Trek films, I think, is very good. Obviously, they have the what's the word? They have the famous lens flare that J.J. Abrams is known for. I'm trying to think of the word for that. But just from the trailer, I can see already that, again, the cinematography and the imagery that J.J. Abrams has used is very evocative of J.J. Abrams. You know, that shot when you see the X-wings going across that water. You've got the Millennium Falcon doing its thing. A lot of those are very J.J. Abrams' is style, basically. You watch the Star Trek films, there was a lot of Enterprise porn in that film, for lack of a better term. There's a lot of shots of the Enterprise. There's a lot of shots of the corridors in the Enterprise to give you the feel that you're there, and to give fans of the Star Trek series a look at the Enterprise that he's you know, brought to life. So from that point of view, I think it will work. We just have to wait with the story.
What's your opinions on the original actors coming back? Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher.
I was actually very surprised Carrie Fisher's returning. Very surprised she was returning. Her relationship with George Lucas and some of the people involved is not very good. As some of you probably know, Carrie Fisher hit rock bottom a few years ago. In fact, she actually did it wasn't a talk show. She did a stand-up show on telly where she spoke about her depression and what happened to her after Star Wars, basically. It's interesting she's returning. I think the fact that it's now owned by Disney has nothing to do with George Lucas anymore. You know, all that kind of stuff. I think she's now coming into it, looking at it from a fresh point of view. Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill returning again. We have no idea what sort of role they're going to take. Obviously, they're reprising their roles as Luke Skywalker and Han Solo, or Han Solo, depending on how you pronounce it. Anyway, we don't know in what aspect, you know, they're going to be. Is Luke Skywalker going to be a Yoda type character, type entity? Is he going to be a wise Jedi that now teaches other people? Has he completely shed the Force? Has he gone his own separate way? You know, of course, don't forget he, to a certain extent, killed his dad. You know.
Of course, Darth Vader's not in it because that's like you said, he's done that.
You know, I don't know how that's going to be handled. You know, but we'll see.
Did you enjoy the prequels?
Yes. I know, again,
I know that there's a lot of people that didn't.
a lot of people that didn't.
Mm.
You know, most of the reasons come down to Hayden Christensen's acting, a lot of the stupidity later on in the franchise. Again, I've said this before, it takes a lot for a movie to not entertain me in some way. It takes a lot for a movie to not entertain me in some way. So I actually enjoyed the
My
prequel trilogy.
favourite, the whole of them, was Revenge of the Sith, the last of the prequels.
What's that?
When the last of the prequels, Revenge of the Sith,
What about it?
when Anakin became Darth Vader after
Yeah.
having that lightsaber fight and ending up in the molten lava thing.
I have to say that lightsaber fight is a very good lightsaber fight. Yeah.
Even the music that went with it was brilliant.
Sorry?
The music that went with that scene.
The music's always brilliant. Of course, it's done by... I forgot his name. I'm going to kick myself. The original composer of Star Wars. Williams. His name is whatever Williams. I can't remember his name right now. I'm going to kick myself later when I realise. John Williams? Anyway.
It might be, I don't know.
I would look it up, but I'm not going to. I'm going to try and remember it myself.
Yeah. Oh, to answer the bottom question there, yes, I am on Skype tomorrow.
Who asked that?
May to December. Are you around next week, Gareth, as well?
Sorry?
Are you around next Saturday?
Am I around next Saturday? I don't know at the moment.
Okay. You'll have to let us know.
I will.
Okay. Yeah. It's been a good chat, hasn't it? I think it's 11 o'clock now. It'll be about, what, 20 minutes, okay?
Mm-hmm. What's your subject to carry us out then?
Oh yeah, do you watch Netflix?
I have.
Do you watch much on it or not?
I don't tend to watch a lot on Netflix. I at one point was quite disappointed with the quality of Netflix at one point, and Amazon Video and Love Film and all the other ones that are around. So I actually watched. What did I watch on there? Can't remember what film I watched. Oh, Dark Knight Rises. We had the Dark Knight Rises on Blu-ray, and I watched it on Netflix, and the quality wasn't HD. Put it that way. Sorry, I don't know if it was or wasn't HD, but it wasn't as good as the Blu-ray. Put it that way. And I know that I know that streaming services aren't as good. But of course, going from watching the Blu-ray to watching that, I was like, that's a bit jarring. So, why? What do you want to say?
Oh, because I'm thinking about using the free trial on there to start off with and see if it's any good and see if it's worth it.
Taking out the free trial.
I haven't started it yet.
Okay. I swear you said to me a while ago you were going to watch something on Netflix on Skype. Or am I misremembering that?
I'm waiting to find a certain day or something to start it, because it's only 1 month, there's 3, so I don't want to go paying for it just yet.
You've said to previous people you were going to go whole hog, just pay for it, pay the $6.99 or whatever is a month, go for it.
I'm going to stick with the free trial though first.
So what's changed your mind since then? Because obviously, a couple of weeks back you were like, I'm going to go for it, I'm going to pay the money, I'm going to get into Netflix wholeheartedly. And
I'm
then,
going
like,
to test it out first. Get the taste for it, and then go for the payment, and then maybe get it for a meal.
okay, all right. Why were you? How do I put this? Why were you so enthusiastic for it before, but not so much now?
Just about the quality of it, because I don't know what to expect yet. Because I don't even.
I don't think you personally need to worry about the quality of it, because you said to me that you wouldn't like it if films looked brand new.
Mm.
So I don't think you personally need to worry about the quality of Netflix. You know, not being funny, by the time I'd watched Dark Knight Rises on Netflix, I'd seen the Blu-ray 2 or 3 times. So I was used to the way the Blu-ray looks. And then I started watching on there, I was like, you know, that's not Blu-ray quality sort of thing. So
it's a lot different to Blu-ray quality then.
to Blu-ray quality, it's different. It's still very watchable. I'm not going to say that it wasn't watchable, but to my personal tastes, I would always reach for the Blu-ray.
Yeah. Any other pickups over like you want to get other than the Halloween? You know, what's next on your things to pick up for yourself?
What, film-wise, or?
TV shows, films, or music even?
Well, I do have the John Lennon box sets in mind at the moment that I might purchase in the new year, which comprises of his 8 studio albums plus a couple of bonus discs. That's on my wish list, so to speak, at the moment. Apart from that, I don't have much I want. As I've said in numerous of my videos, the Halloween set was something I was aiming towards for quite some time now, since it got released in September, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I think it was September it got released. It's been out for a couple of months now.
Any plans tomorrow? What are you doing tomorrow?
Plans tomorrow? I don't know at the moment, actually. My dad might be off at the moment, as he's working, but he might be off. I don't have anything written. You know, I haven't done anything. I don't have anything in stone, so to speak. Maybe watch some Halloween. Who knows? Nothing concrete.
Bit of GTA, bit of Halloween maybe, eh?
That's probably what's on the cards.
Yeah.
Yourself?
Not much, not to be honest, no. Might just be here, might do a bit of video and a bit of editing or something. So when do you pick up, when do you stop work for Christmas? Or do you not?
When do I stop work for Christmas?
Yeah.
Work isn't like school, James. You don't just break up at some random point.
So you work Christmas?
Yes! The only 2 mandatory closing days for B&Q is Easter Sunday and Christmas Day.
Okay.
However, I am off Christmas Eve because I booked it off, or it's been booked off for me. I also have New Year's Eve off, but I am working Boxing Day.
Mm-hmm.
Depending if you class that as Christmas or not.
Yeah.
A lot of people do. The reaction to people when they ask me, "Oh, you're not working Boxing Day?" Yes, I am. Oh, that's not good, is it? Is what it is. I can't change that. In fact, I'd rather be working Boxing Day because it's double time.
I got to do some Christmas shopping next week.
Oh, I've got Christmas shopping to do as well.
Have you been doing some yet, or you still got to finish off?
I done some Christmas shopping. I still have a bit to do. And the time's running out.
The person I bought something for at the moment is my mum, and I'm going to buy my sister, nieces, and brother-in-law something on Wednesday because I'm seeing Nick, and I'll be able to get some stuff then.
Yep.
That'll be.
Oh, how was your curry night?
Oh, it was good. I got a video up on my channel. Have you seen it?
No, because as I said before this, I'd gone for a nap, and I woke up literally at 20 to 9. So.
Perhaps after or later on or tomorrow or something.
Perhaps.
I think I've run out of almost subjects to say now.
I had a subject earlier, but I've forgotten it right now. I've completely forgot. That's what I was going to say. I was going to ask you. So, if the Halloween Blu-ray set is coming to the UK, you going to buy it?
Yeah.
You are?
If it comes to the UK and as a UK region, I will.
Even though you said that if, old films...
And if it's affordable.
Sorry?
And if it's affordable.
Yeah. We'll see.
Might not be, but, I don't know.
How do I put this kindly? Probably not within your price bracket. You may have to save up for it. As I've said, it was not cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said it in the videos on my channel how much it cost. It was £55 plus there was a £24 import charge.
So, but with Amazon, you can get it is it to you can just order it and it goes from Amazon to Amazon warehouse?
Right, there are some things you can order through Amazon where it will tell you it's going to go from Amazon to Amazon warehouse. And then that way, I believe Amazon pays for the charge. But there's nothing on this set that said that. And I think it did actually warn me at one point while I was ordering it that I may get import charges. It's always a risk. Even when it says it's going from Amazon to Amazon warehouse, there's still a risk you're going to get a customs charge. There was always a risk. If the box gets open, or if customs know about the box and what's in the box, you're going to get a customs charge.
Isn't it weird? Because in America, you don't get customs charges when you're ordering from there, from the UK or something.
Sorry, say that again?
If you were in America, and you were ordering over there from here, do you not get customs charges from that side?
Of course you do.
Okay, because I thought it was...
A customs charge, basically, is first of all, you get a flat rate, I don't know if it's a flat rate, but you get a rate that's put on top of it. And then basically what you're paying is the tax.
Mm-hmm.
You're paying your region's tax on it, because when you order from another country, you don't pay your country's tax.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if is illegal or whether it's just a grey area. Probably just a grey area. But if they find out about that, you are then slapped with that tax charge plus a charge on top of that.
Or is it can get quite a lot as well, can it?
Well, one of the included costs was £11, which is 10%, £5.50, £55, 10% of that's £5.50. Times that by 2 to get 20% is exactly £11, which is the tax of this country, 20%. So I can prove it that part of that was a tax charge.
But it come to you pretty quick, though, didn't it?
It came very quick. I was floored by how quickly it came. The funny thing is when I kept tracking it, they kept saying it's going to come Friday. It's going to come Friday. And I was sort of thinking, really? That is very quick. Probably the quickest I've ever had something.
Sorry, what day did you order it and how long did it take to get there?
Sorry, I ordered it on the Monday and it was technically in the UK on the Wednesday.
Wednesday? Oh, that's quick.
It travelled from Ontario, Canada to a state in the US, Kentucky, I think, in the US, and then came to Tamworth in England. Yeah. Within 3 days. It came super quick.
How far is Tamworth from you?
Sorry?
How far is Tamworth from you?
Tamworth is just north of Birmingham. I found out on a map.
And then it just comes from there.
About 2 hour drive, about 2.5 hour drive.
Yeah. Do you think that's like the second most expensive item now you bought? Or?
No. Nowhere
No?
close. Nowhere close.
What would you say was the most expensive now?
Sorry, Malcolm, if you're still here, hopefully you are. You said, you put a comment here saying you don't unless it's over $2,000. What are you referring to? Is it a customs charge or something? I'd like to know that. That seems quite an interesting comment there. What did you say, James? Sorry.
What was I?
The most expensive item I have is still my Ghostbusters set in terms of DVDs. My overall most expensive set anyway is the Beatles studio stereo collection.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next most expensive is the Lost set, which cost me £104.
With Blu-ray, maybe.
Sorry?
Blu-ray. Most expensive Blu-ray.
My most expensive Blu-ray. Is the Hitchcock collection.
Right, yeah, the one you said about 16 films, you said?
Yeah, it cost me £65. Because technically, I only paid £30 for the Halloween set. Because as I said, Luke, again, very graciously covered the import charge for me. Once again, I thank him very much for that. And there was also some Christmas money associated with that, so I only personally paid £30 for the Halloween set.
That's good.
So I'm happy. Yeah, my most expensive Blu-ray set I think would be the Hitchcock collection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have a so what's your favourite movie in there? Have you seen
In what?
Hitchcock?
You haven't got a very good memory, have you, at times?
I know you said Psycho, but I think I meant another one as well.
No, I said I haven't seen any of them.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you're right. Not much of a good memory at all. The customs in America, they charge you once you are over 2,000. I looked it up when I was buying England.
All right. So it's mandatory over $2,000. Okay. So I guess it's luck or chance if you get charged customs on things like box sets and stuff like that. It's just a chance that you could. I think what Malcolm means is it's mandatory if you're spending over £2,000.
Mandatory? What does that mean?
Compulsory. You will get charged. Basically, it will happen.
It's 20 past. Should we end up now?
It is 20 past. So you normally end up at half past. There's a couple of questions in here that I was going to tend to.
Okay.
Very quickly before we go away, Malcolm said, I assume he's referring to you. He said he's a liar. That's why. What did James lie about, or what did I lie about? Who lied about what? If Malcolm could get that in, hopefully. Let's just scroll up. I think there's one more in here I was going to tend to. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Adam did say quite a while ago. Sorry, Adam's taking us so long to get around to this. Halloween 3 is still a good film, even though it's not got Michael Myers in it. Have you seen Halloween 3?
Me? No, I haven't.
You haven't.
No.
Are you going to?
Maybe I should though.
Okay, this is a good subject. While we're waiting for Malcolm's response. Why wouldn't you watch it? I know why what you're going to say, but I'd like you to elaborate.
Halloween without Michael Myers just sounds kind of pointless.
Why does it sound pointless? That's what I'm trying to understand from some people. They associate Halloween with Michael Myers. It would be very interesting. I don't think it's going to happen, but it would be very interesting if the Michael Bay involved Halloween film doesn't involve Michael Myers. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't think.
Which is a lot better to shitty England pound, lol.
Which is a lot better to shitty England's £18. I'm confused. Oh, the Netflix thing. Ah, yes. Yes, I understand, Malcolm. Yeah. I knew I wasn't wrong about that. You cheeky devil, James, I'll say, to be kind right now. Where were we? Yeah, a lot of people. There are some people that sort of say Halloween 3 is the black sheep of the Halloween franchise because it doesn't have Michael Myers in it, although technically it does. It's just interesting, people, Michael Myers. I know that the whole point of a slasher franchise is pretty much you've got this, this entity that can't be stopped, and it's tearing its way through, bodies upon bodies or people upon people. But I just find it interesting how people sort of cast away Halloween 3 like they do. It's just interesting to me.
I have a pretty interesting question. I wonder who plays Michael Myers in all these movies, because nobody ever knows, because he's always wearing a mask.
Different people.
Yeah.
At some point, there are stunt coordinators that play him, or stuntmen that play him. John Carpenter played him.
All right.
In the first film. I can't remember who the actor was when the mask comes off in the first one. But John Carpenter played. Just said that bit. Played Michael Myers in the first film. There was actually a female at one point who played Michael Myers at one point. I believe they needed to do a shot, and the person they normally had wasn't around or something. So a female basically costumed up and was Michael Myers for a bit. Several people have played Michael Myers over the years. It hasn't been one particular person. I mean, in the Rob Zombie ones, Rob Zombie got a 6'7" beast of a man to play Michael Myers. I think he was a wrestler or something.
Like certain other films, like Robert Englund for Freddy, certain actor for Friday the 13th.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't. Different people have played Jason Voorhees over the years.
Yeah, you're right, man.
The only one that I know of that, of course, has played them all is Robert Englund. I'm trying to think. Of course, there's not, apart from those main ones, there's not many other slasher franchises, are there? There's not Elm Street, Friday the 13th, and Halloween.
You've not seen any Nightmare on Elm Street, have you yet?
No, I haven't seen a single one.
I think you will, or perhaps not.
I'll probably watch the first one.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have said it's worth a watch. I wouldn't mind seeing Johnny Depp in his first film role. I don't know if I'll carry on from there because I've heard some things about the series that I'm not too inclined to watch, shall we say. Some various death scenes that I'm a little bit about, you know. So
some things make you a little bit cringy.
Very much so.
What type of things would you say?
Well, I don't know how much is actually on scene in some of the Nightmare on Elm Street films, but I've definitely heard some interesting things about some of the death scenes. Paris Hilton's death scene, I've heard, is quite over the top. Trying to think. I mean, I've actually looked up most of the kills in Friday the 13th and Halloween. I haven't actually looked up any of the kills. Well, I know some of the kills, obviously, from Nightmare on Elm Street. That's, again, you know, that's why I bought Halloween rather than any of the others, because, once again, compared to some of them, it's the tamest of them in terms of violence and gore. And as I've said, it may be, you know, come across as squeamish to some people, but, you know, I don't like out gore. You know, it's not something I want to sit and watch necessarily. Some people do. That's entirely up to them.
The sort of thing that would make you feel sick.
If it goes too far, definitely, definitely, and that's why I'm so careful of horror films. And that again, that's why I went for Halloween, because a lot of the kills in there are very tame compared to the likes of Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th. I mean,
you think they'll be all like tamed kills?
Sorry?
The box set. Do you think they'll be all tamed?
Again, I've looked up the kills. I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen it, but I know the goriest kill that I can find out, to me personally, would be a head explosion. How that happens is up for people. To watch the film involved. Apart from that, and I've seen plenty of head explosions. You know, both comically done and seriously done. But a lot of the more over-the-top kills of the Halloween franchise are actually done off-screen. There's actually a really good site I found that lists all the kills and tells you whether it's on-screen or off-screen. A lot of the more over-the-top kills are actually off-screen. And that's because, of course, people know this already, the first Halloween film, John Carpenter wants to make it have as little blood as possible. He wanted it to be your imagination that sort of makes you think what's happening, and he wants to be shrouded in darkness, a lot of it. And if you watch it, there's very little blood in the first Halloween film. Very little blood.
It's 11:30. Should we go say our goodbyes?
It is. 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Yep. Just checking that we've answered everything. And yep, no problem.
Okay. So you will let me know if you're around for next week.
I'll let you know at some point, I'm sure.
Okay. So do I go first as you're the guest?
Okay then, once again, thank you very much for having me, James. Thank you very much for everybody for commenting. There's actually been some pretty good comments today, I think. We've had a pretty good discussion about various things. I apologise for me going on about the Halloween set, but you know, we all like our big purchases. Yeah, thank you very much for everybody watching. Thank you very much for the comments, and thank you to James for having me.
You're welcome, Gareth, as always, and hopefully come with us. Come and join me again. And yeah, for this week, guys, until next Saturday, which I'm scheduled, see if Gareth can go and join me or anybody else, we shall see. But until next time, goodbye and take care.
2 seconds.
Sorry?
Sorry? I'd just like to pay, because this is the first time I've been involved with a chat without either Tash or Malcolm. I'd just like to pay my respects to Tash and Malcolm of the Geek-Chat. I feel, to a certain extent, I'm filling some very big shoes to a certain extent, and I'd just like to pay homage and tribute to both Tash and Malcolm for what they've done up until this point. So thank you very much to Malcolm and Tash.
That was a good thing to say there, Gareth. Okay now?
Yeah, I'm all done.
Right, until next time, guys, goodbye.
Take care, guys.